Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thanks for stopping by. Our dedicated team will guide you through with the latest updates and theories at Starbase, Texas. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for future streams.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all our friends all around the world. Welcome to Starbase Weekly, episode 163. I'm Stephanie B. I'll be your host for today. And today we've got some other commentators with us. For a start, we've got Alex. So, g'day, Alex.
Hello, hello, everybody listening. It should be a fun show, and back to you.
Got many heaps of updates this week. We've also got with us from NSF, Ryan Webber. G'day, Ryan.
How's it going, everyone?
Going well, thank you. And Todd as well. We've got three commentators with us today.
Yeah, hey everyone. Thanks for having me. Looking for another great week of pictures. I'm ready to get into this.
And giving Joe a break this week, we've got Matt over on questions and donations. There you go, Matt.
Oh, hello. I'm here and happy to be here.
And Matt, of course, is also a stream producer, so he's got his morning, he's got his afternoon fairly busy with his questions and buttons and knobs, so good on you, Matt. Okay, we'll start with Masseys. As always, and this week, boy, oh boy, you're in for a big bit of a ride here at Masseys. Okay, well, we'll start over at the Flame Trench area. And lots of work going on this week. We'll start with the actual trench. The Commodities trench, you can see lots of wall finished concrete and some more formwork and some more trenching all the way around to the LOX tanks. I think this photo will show that we're in near the LOX tanks. So they're coming with that trench all the way over to the LOX hippos, which is awesome. We predicted that when we started seeing them tearing up that previous culvert. Over here, they're laying a blinding layer. I guess doesn't look very structural, does it? Alex? Just a bit of concrete.
Nah, it's definitely a blank layer. It's looking like they actually are going to be building a bunker over here. That probably explains why the commodities trench stopped where it did.
So, like another bunker for the high pressure and low pressure commodities switching?
Probably similar to the fluid bunker from Pad A.
Okay, cool. Yep.
If I were to venture a guess.
And the bunker has got its roof ready to lay concrete. So I'm guessing you're saying about transformers. I'm guessing the transformers might be under this little cupboard area under here rather than actually inside the bunker.
Yeah. Either way, they'll definitely be a lot more protected than previously.
Explain all the holes that they had drilled in there too, having it right there ready to go.
So the holes were actually underground. Ground level's going to be up here somewhere, and all those holes are underground. So I imagine the transformers, but still, Todd, not to say anything about what you're wrong, to say from the transformers, they'll go underground with the conduits to go through the wall, actually underground to get in underneath the whole floor under there. So that is correct.
That's what I was meaning.
Yeah, I knew that. Now, over here, they've taken all the scaffolding off the what do you call it? Static fire stand. I knew what it was. And it's looking still quite rough, yeah?
Yeah. It'll buff out.
So their preliminary sort of work is finished for now on that. Just while we're over here, is this right, Freddie? Yeah, while we're over here, we've got a new scrap pile over here. Like last week we saw the thrust puck for the center engines. There's probably an engine or two in bits and pieces in there, maybe. Maybe the engines got taken away. I can't actually point them out in particular. But there's
your hand right there. Was that on a bell just to the left?
Is that a bell? Maybe.
It's roundish.
Yeah,
Yeah, whoever.
Power head.
Yeah, it looked like there's a power head in there, but
It looks inside out, like the power head's shoved up the throat, or what do you call it?
Injected through the throat.
They turned it inside out. Okay, we're going to, around the site, we're going to see a lot of new trench work for electrical. So while we're up here, we might as well take a quick look at this one. This is a trench. I'm assuming it's for some kind of electrical. It only seems to go to that area for now, but we'll have a look more at more of the electrical in a minute. Going back to the methane tank farm. Maybe this shot will do. There's high pressure tanks that have been installed underneath the methane tank. And Alex, we're thinking this is maybe a blast well here, correct?
Yeah, it's looking like it's probably the start for Blastwall Cantilever Blastwall Foundation.
That's right.
How tall, Ryan?
420 feet.
Perfect.
69 feet wide.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we figured. But yeah.
Okay,
Anyway,
still no. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, legitimately, it'll probably be tall enough to protect the horizontal tank, and that's probably about it at that point.
Yeah, maybe if it goes all the way through here, it's sort of a bit of protection for the new pump farm, perhaps too. So the pump farm's looking good. It's got both those stands pretty well completed, and the pump still has to come in here, and the manifolds and so on still on this side. The hippos are in place, and they've dug up concrete here, so I'm imagining this is the way they're going to run the methane cryo lines, and maybe across the surface here, or maybe underground in here, I'm not sure yet.
It appears they're going to keep separated since that commodities trench is not that wide.
Yeah.
Either they do it above ground or they make another trench, which they could, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I suppose they dig another trench. I was sort of thinking if they're going to dig another trench, they may have already dug the dirt out for that. But anyway, that's not always the way things work at Starbase, is it?
Well,
No.
finishing this trench will open up most of the build site for them.
So scaffolding is the new safety barrier material, obviously.
Except at the edge where they're using a basket on
They're
the
using a basket.
at the Rio side.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So lots of developments in the new tank farm going ahead there at Masseys, which is awesome to see. So we'll slide down slightly to the Lux Hippo area, and we can see the Lux Hippos extra hippos have been put in place. And I'll just find this other photo, bear with me.
Basics decided to go with metal stands instead of concrete ones, just to be different, of course.
No, just to get us with OCD. That's it.
That's true.
That's all I can think about. Why isn't it concrete?
Stare at all the horizontal tanks over at the launch site, and you can have fun with your OCD. That's all.
Well, the evolution of the tank pedestals, the new orbital tank farm, is also triggering.
Now, are these two new hippos? Are they the old methane side ones?
I think these are. I thought these were the new ones, and
no, I'm pretty sure the new ones are over at the methane side. This photo, pretty sure they're the new ones.
They don't look the same as the old ones.
Yeah, they look like a slight different design.
I'm pretty sure we saw, before these arrived, we saw the old ones move down to here, and I was sitting here for a bit. So while we're in here, we can see they've actually disconnected the locks. I thought that was an elbow for a minute, Alex. So they've disconnected the lock system from the tanks. So they've got a lot of modifications. So the lock system's not usable right now. And with all those extra pipe stand bases going on here, we can see some more bolts here, and up in here, there's more bolts up in here. Looks like we're getting a new set of stands and a heap more. There's going to be a lot of plumbing here. And Alex, you're thinking even a lot of this will come out, yeah?
Yeah, all of that plumbing's going to go on that pipeway.
Probably a complete redesign of all the locks, pipe runs, to not only to the tanks, to the new pumps, but to both cryo stands and to the static fire stands. So they're redoing the entire tank farm at Masseys, like all of it, basically.
Yeah, currently they've even disconnected the old LOX pumps. So it is down for a bit.
Yeah, the only part of Massey's tank farm which is not disconnected is the nitrogen side to the test stand. But that's it.
The nitrogen probably still goes. Yeah, there's nothing connected. There's nothing to connect to over there. I was going to say the nitrogen still might be on the LOX hippos. That's all, but that's only a minor detail. There's a disconnect here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would expect that that nitrogen line to be disconnected, probably somewhere near the nitrogen pumps or the tanks, somewhere around there. I kind of expect it to be. There's no reason to route anything over there.
No, that's where they tee off. Cool. Anyway, that's only minor detail. And this could have been planned. We're discussing in Chantel. This could have well and truly been planned a while ago to have this whole lock system upgraded at some stage, and because there was always going to be probably a lead in a bit of a time, a bit of a gap in between version 2 and version 3 chips and boosters being ready And as it turned out, because of Ship 36, they've got a lot of time on their hand right now. So a full redesign of Masseys is underway. It's almost like 36 was supposed to happen. Okay,
How dare you?
Okay, we'll go on with the electrical. Here we can see there's another electrical trench going on through here. In fact, we go to the overall shot. I know it's a bit foggy, but this will give us an idea of the extended electrical work. Starting from the front gate, there's electrical conduit dug up towards that way. And then there's trench. This has been dug up. Electrical has been dug up all the way through here. All the way through here, across to there, and continues on to where I just was, going over to the new bunker. I'd imagine that's going to the high. This will be the high voltage, I imagine, going across to that bunker area.
And splitting off to the methane and the static fire stand, and
yeah, splitting up over in this direction. And we're gonna go look in there in a minute.
spoilers.
Shiny.
So, Matt, do you want to break to a question about the methane farm now? Have you got a question or two?
There are actually no questions just yet, except for Astro Knucklehead just sent in $5 Canadian and said, "Hey Ryan, my sister is single and she's a pessimist too."
What?
Oh man,
That was good.
Hilarious.
that's good. That's funny.
Okay, well, I'll move right along. We've got a new pad over in here, and hold on to your hats. Are you ready for it? It's the reason they're building this is what you got to hold on to your hats for. You can notice that the pattern of the embeds are much like the old can crusher.
Hey, what do you know? It's getting reused again.
What do you know? They're reusing a can crusher. I'm like, what? Why? What? How? Where? For what? So many questions.
Like they can't crush cans in the new testing structure, but maybe it's crushes differently. I don't know, but yeah, I was not expecting to see that.
I would guess so they have a second test stand because they only have one right now, and they have a lot of stuff they still need to test, like the ship aft once they figure out the design for it, and then like the booster forward needs to get tested as well. And well, they can't really test it when it's the current one is occupied. So I would guess that they'll build a new cap somewhere. And in fact, I mean, there might be a cap being built under that tent, and then just need more RAMs to bring in, and now you can test two things at once.
The big contender is probably maybe even the new hot stage system they may want to test. And now with this stand, this is very much exclusively booster at the moment with the booster clamps and everything. This may give them a bit more added options with just barrel sections, or I say just for like the hot stage ring, they don't actually need a booster aft. Because as it is, this stand really needs a booster aft to put anything in this can crusher as it's configured right now. And I'm not saying they won't reconfigure it, but for now, in the interim, it's configured exclusively for a booster.
Real quick.
Yeah, like Ryan's saying, go on.
I was just going to say, we do have one question real quick. We have a question from Dave W. Will the blast wall restrict views of the ship?
Yeah,
Probably.
Yeah, from that side it will. It should.
yeah, it will. It might be tall enough that it'll like. It depends on how tall they make it. If they make it only to cover the horizontal tank, then it'll probably just cover the static fire stand itself. But if they make it any sign of significant height, then I mean, you won't see the engine section. You definitely won't see any fire out of the static fire stand. I didn't think about that. Yeah. Views from Rocket Ranch will be not as great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks for that, guys.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, the can crusher cap. Yeah, there's quite a few. I mean, no can crusher. It was certainly not on my bingo card this week to see that development, that's for sure.
I guess after 36, maybe they're just thinking redundancy. They have a way of testing, even if maybe they don't have anything planned, but let's just kind of make sure we have backups.
It's not a lot of room where they're placing it either.
Yeah, they're really squeezing it in, aren't they?
I mean, I look at the LN2 and lock side of Masseys here, and they need to demolish everything and condense it because it is so spread out for no reason whatsoever. It's just it's from the old days is the problem.
Ideally, they remove the old locks and move the LN2 there.
Yeah, and then that entire LN2 side would then be remove the old locks, remove the old LN2, and bring in the new big tanks for LN2. Just bring in a bunch of those and line them up right there, and then you got locks and LN2 next together, and then you can build another 2 or 3 test stands in the LN2 area, and boom.
Right.
This is very reminiscent of old suborbital side of the launch pad, really, isn't it?
Bespoke, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're very much custom made. Whereas the new system, which is quite a lot more elegant with the all this new skids and standardized modules and so on, looks so much prettier.
Yeah, I've got a question. Have we figured out what all the MOVACs are for? Are they just doing for the leftover water, or there's just so many of them around?
They don't seem to be used really yet. So all of our previous guesses were kind of wrong. They were pumping out the flame bucket and a few other different the flame trench, but that never really happened. They already did that. They had a little pump sitting over here, didn't they, for a while, and they were pumping it straight out into trucks and leaving the site with the flame trench water. So I don't know, Ryan, have you got any ideas on the MOVAC trucks?
I don't know, honestly.
Are they even? Oh, they're hooked up.
They're hooked up.
Oh, they are using them for something.
It's probably settling for what's coming out of the trench.
Let's say they're doing a ton of groundwork over there. Maybe it had something to do with that.
Yeah, I mean, some of it could have been water storage because dust mitigation with all that. And when washing down everything from volatile dust.
So would they be getting they're not getting groundwater in here, it's just not quite low enough. Or it's the wrong soil to get groundwater coming through. So maybe they're pumping out of this area somewhere, but it doesn't quite look like it.
I think they're from the initial cleanup, and they haven't removed them.
Cool. I guess that's the answer you're going to get, Todd.
Sounds good. We'll just keep our eyes on them.
Sure. Okay.
Staff?
Uh-oh.
And yeah, I can definitely see that happening in the future. Actually, the way you just described these large tanks to continue through here for nitrogen and opening this area up looks, I think that could actually happen. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Okay, on to Cryo testing stations. So far the ship station hasn't had any change yet, but that's not needed for quite some time. Over here at the booster one, we can see it's pretty well complete. Oh, it's not the right photo. We can see they put the missing legs in. Where's the photo we were using last night, Alex?
Good question. The entertaining game trying to find the right one.
Yeah. So we can see the clamps have been installed. The balls, I guess, that the sockets sit over are there. Now, funny enough, we were sort of talking about this. Try this one. Oh, this one's better. It appears there's no. Oh, maybe the other one's better. It appears there's no landing spot for the booster, the flat part of the bottom of the booster. It appears like here, maybe the
It's on the balls.
sitting on the socket, that's all that supports the booster weight here at the cryo station, at least.
It's probably it'll probably be always supported just by the wall sockets.
So at least here, we're talking that like at the launch site, maybe there's a little bit more, because at the launch site, of course, these will be required to carry 7,000 tonnes, so about 350 tonnes each. Whereas here at the cryo station, it's never going to be anywhere near that amount of load on here, maybe a couple of 100 tonnes, maybe 100 tonnes each at the most. But Alex, you're saying about buildings, they sit on these balls sometimes, and 350 tonnes was not as mind-blowing as it was to me.
It's very reminiscent of seismic isolators.
It's a really good view of how they're, like a cockie's beak, they're just basically pinching the very outside of the booster. So the outside of the booster is roughly the same spot as the outside of that ball. There's not much room. Like the sockets that they sit in are very, very close to the outside edge of the booster. So that's looking much like it's almost ready for a booster. This the day of the flyover, I guess, the QDs did arrive for the cryo station here, and currently there's two QDs actually on this stand now. I don't have Gazer's permission to use that image, but if you go and check out Starship Gazer on X, you'll see an excellent ground photo of this area.
So I had another question come in real quick.
Sure.
It is from Daniel Kennett. He wanted to know, have they fixed the sidewall of the support building?
Probably. It's hard to tell. Have a quick look over here. They did have a pile of rubbish here from it. We can't get a photo from that side. It's a good lead in here, actually. We can't get a photo from this side because the pilot doesn't like to get that close to the Mexican border. So to get a shot on that angle, the pilot would have to fly right on the border of Mexico, and they're not comfortable on doing that because you don't want to fly into Mexico accidentally without clearance. I'll just quickly go. Thanks, Daniel. Is it? Thank you. Just quickly go back to that stand. So I guess this bit of plumbing, Alex, will stay at least, since it's still hooked up into here. But it may, from here back, it may get completely redesigned, all that. Hopefully they get rid of these janky buildings too.
Hey now.
Looks like, I think a bit more. I'll have to look at last week's photos. I think there's a bit more plumbing going on in here. So these gas lines are switched from in here, aren't they? Which is sort of similar to that flattened area next to the flame trench valve systems, yeah?
Yeah, well, and it's a control also for filling the test articles and vehicles.
Yep. Gas is here and cryo liquids here.
And if you want a headache, try and map everything out. Flows out.
Not today, another day. You're very patient and good at explaining that sort of stuff, Alex. We appreciate it. Okay, lots of new valves and fittings and panels and so on, ready for the new LOX and methane farms. So it's good to see. Looks like this one we're saying was dusty and looks like it's been stored for a while, this thing.
Or it's recovered from the old pad.
Okay, we'll move on to booster 13. They've stripped more engines off 13. So I want to know in chat who had any idea they were going to reuse that can crusher. I don't think anybody predicted that. Excuse me. So they're starting to take some of the Center 10 engines out and more of the outer 20 engines, just sort of making their way down through the engines. I don't think they're ever going to reuse those engines, but
no. They'll try to get all the not niobium, the Inconel out of them and copper and whatnot. They'll just recycle them, whatever they can.
So that stuff's fairly recyclable, is it? There, Ryan?
I mean, take it all apart, clean it all up, melt it down. Might be able to reuse some of it.
Grind it. You can separate it out chemically fairly easily.
Okay, because some alloys are a bit harder to recover, aren't they?
Since that's a composite of Inconel and copper and some other things, you'd pretty much have to almost take it back to its individual states. So it'd be a lot of work.
Yeah, they may just chuck them away, too.
Oh,
yeah,
rack?
little nitric acid, and you'd be fine.
Are they racks or trusses?
Racks. Nah, they're shelving racks.
For in there.
Oh, where are they, trusses? Because there looks like behind, inside, if further back of the tent, it looks like they have them. Now that's big shelving.
Let's say, what are they building something there? Or are they just making a tent with a bunch of shelving for a bunch of parts for all the stuff that they're doing there right now?
Probably the latter. It's their inventory area, and they'll just work outside like they like.
What's that? I can't believe there are 11,742 Ryan Webbers on the interwebby. What does that mean? You're a multiple personality, Ryan?
I guess.
Okay,
I didn't know I had it, but I guess I learned something new today.
You really can't diagnose yourself.
No, you can't. That is the problem with that.
Alrighty, I think we've covered Masseys now. We'll quickly go over to the concrete plant. That's not the best shot of it. So we've got a concrete batch plant here along Highway 4. And I guess, concrete plants, they put stuff in here and cement in here and water and mix it all together in here and put concrete trucks under here and off they go.
It's a couple years late, but it's a good addition.
Like, they probably could have used this. They definitely could have used this when they went to redo Pad A. And with all the concrete they've done around, with all Star Factory, with Pad B, with what they're going to do with Gigabay, it's about time they had one.
Redoing Highway 4.
Yeah, they need it. This will get a lot of use. That's for sure. This will get a lot of use.
There's going to be thousands and thousands of truckloads come out of here. So we've probably got water, but this may be for additives, perhaps over this side.
Perhaps.
Don't they add additives like just before they want to pour it? Like when it gets to the site, they'll add it, mix it, and then pour it. Isn't that what they do?
Yeah, at the present. But maybe because the run is so much shorter now, they may be able to add the additives. Try and say that 3 times fast. They may be able to add the additives here because it's might be in the truck for quite so long.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And some of it also depends, though, what type of additive. Because if they're putting some of it, the amount they'll put in dependent on the initial sump test, how long it's been sitting.
Sure.
There's a whole black art to concrete mixes.
Absolutely. I remember my days as a concrete pool builder. We used to do a lot of funky things with concrete.
Hey, Steph, let me ask a quick question. Yazada just mentioned, where is the concrete plant located in comparison to everything else in the area?
It's close to, I was going to say Birdsville, then Brownsville. That's Highway 4, I'm pretty sure, and it's not far from the Port Connector Road. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Near the Port
Outside
Connector Road.
Brownsville.
Yeah, on the Brownsville side or the Starbase side of the Connector Road?
Pretty
that's
sure
got-
it's the
that's got your
Starbase
thinking.
side. I think so.
Yeah.
Unless you got a zoomed out shot, but yeah. I think so.
Yeah, it's right where the old immigration.
Oh, there it is. There's the Port Connector Road right there.
Yeah, the old border checkpoint was. It's kind of relatively close to there.
Has a moat.
It has a moat. Oh yeah. What? Why?
It's going to be a medieval fort
Basic.
at the end.
I
Keep
mean,
the alligators out.
Yep.
Trebuchet.
Yeah.
Missing Tools has a question. He wanted to know, could the concrete mix plant be only for Texas DOT?
It's
Partner friends.
It looks like it's owned by the brand, the vendors that they've been using for Gigabay work. So, initially, I had thought that they're just building it for the Highway 4, but this seems to be a fairly robust setup instead of the traditional temporary.
Yeah, because the temporary stuff, they just bring it in and set it on the ground. Because I know I've seen that during road construction and stuff.
Yeah, and the hoppers usually have wheels on them, and these look like they're for a fixed installation. Not saying that if it's there for years that they wouldn't have used a more robust setup, but
Yeah, if you guys remember back when they redid Masseys the first time with the flame trench digging the slurry walls, the batch plant they had there for the bentonite was, just tilted up trailers. It was real basic, real temporary, and this is definitely not like that.
And Fawzilla had a question as well. Is Fondag still used, or could they make it there?
no, they haven't used Fondag, and it's usually mixed just before place. It's this different sort of chemical reaction than traditional concrete.
But the last time they used Fondag was the outer ring around the plate on pad A. I think is the last time they used it.
Yeah, and they may have already replaced it since.
So yeah, concrete highway would be very good there, old tech guy for sure. Old tech guy also asked a question about Birdsville, was where Mary's shooting Starbase photos. Well, Birdsville's actually way out here in the middle of Australia. I got mixed up there. And every year there's a horse race, the Birdsville races. It's quite a popular thing. There's even an airstrip. People come from all over Australia. Anyhow, I digress. Brownsville, Birdsville. Squirrel. Okay.
The international travel segment.
Exactly. Yeah. If you ever get a chance to go to the Birdsville races, totally recommend it. You'll have a ball. Okay, onto the storage lot. There's always bits and pieces in here. Not sure there's anything new this week. So it looks like they've taken some stuff back to the launch site anyway that was here last week for the static fire. Turntables, etc. The school's looking pretty good at New Astra School. Looks like it's going to be just a single floor. with a nice big sort of admin area, I guess, or maybe Discover in Australia, they do a lot of this sort of roofing over the top of play areas to keep the kids away from the sun. I'm not sure they do that in America. In Australia, the sun's very, very bright compared to over there. But anyway, that's the school. Quickly via Rio West. It's advancing as we would expect. This week we see some concrete on the lower floor. And other than that, the rest of the houses are going along. I know these are cookie cutter houses. There's 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, then back to 1, 2, 3, 4. Not sure how many other people have noticed that. I'm sure that was noticed before. The townhouses, that's what you're calling them, have a little parapet wall, a little access to the roofs up here as well. Looks like roof dwellings can be quite popular at Starbase.
Steph, could you go back to doing your dance call for your 1, 2, 3, 4? Sorry. Never mind.
What do you call it? I'm a rock star in my own little lunchbox.
As long as we don't go back to the roundabouts.
Hey,
we will.
Apparently there's an Aussie style way of doing roundabouts these days. Thanks to Toby Waby. Okay, Australia. Yeah, Australia, I did say, Daniel. Yeah. The land of Oz. All right, that should do for all that shenanigans. Let's move on to
questions.
Questions? Sure.
We have been keeping up with questions, so we don't have any extras right now.
They're picking on you in chat again, Todd. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
That's awesome. I love the interaction with chat. That's really cool. All right, let's start with Thing. People are saying Breakover. Still can't see it, but whatever. I guess we'll find out sooner or later.
Breakover.
It's Crane Man, I think Lawrence also picked it last week. This fits the way Crane Man imagined that the pin would line up with that hole in this upside down triangle piece, which is good to see. I don't think Crane Man was the only one who thought that, but Crane Man did mention it last week in the chat, so I'll give him credit for that. I'm a bit puzzled still how it's going to attach to things. There's a large attachment point down the bottom under here, but I can't really see much of attachment point on top yet. And these rams are massive. These are very powerful rams. So whatever this is going to, or perhaps they're shock absorbers, but whatever this is going to do is going to produce quite a lot of torque here. I just can't see Breakover needing actuation, that's all. But like I said, I can never say anybody's wrong because so many things come to light in SpaceX and prove us wrong.
If you have it rotated to one extreme, then that would be the vertical position, and then you're rotating it to the opposite to get it to tip over, probably 60 degrees. It'll probably have like 30 degrees travel to either side, and then hand it off to a different section stand that will continue on with whatever vehicle they tip. But they still have it. There's plenty of room for them to weld the structures that's going to sit on top of here.
Sure, there is a hole through the center here, we noticed. Yeah, I'm still a bit, I guess when it doesn't have a booster attached, I guess the rams could stand it up, but I mean, they're massive, and they're not going to it's going to be held at the other end, isn't it? They're not going to grab it at the bottom and just tip it over like a windmill, are they?
Possibly. Depending where they're tipping it, they might not have a overhead. They might not want to have a crane or if they're doing it outside, support that end. Because it would take probably another 11,000.
Cool. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. And yeah, I'm probably not correct in saying it's nothing to do with Breakover, but like we'll see. Another interesting feature we noticed this week, it has this big round plate here with probably hydraulics or electrical going through the center of it, maybe even hanging out down there even.
Yeah, it has
Go on.
it has actuators for the pin for the top pivot, so it's very reminiscent of how the crane lattice boom are held together.
Cool.
Alex, any idea on those rams? Is that what you meant by the actuators? Because those are stout, heavy duty, but yet they don't look like they have a long throw.
I think if they even had a 3-foot throw, the geometry of that is very reminiscent of how dozers, for some of the larger ones, rotate their main blade in front.
Okay, yep, I see that.
Yeah, and they are splayed out a bit, but yeah, it's probably 2/3 of that diameter is probably as far as its throw is.
The Zata is wondering, Breakover, are you talking about a strong back type thing for horizontal transport of ships and boosters?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whatever latching mechanism would connect to this, and they would pivot it down. It doesn't look like they'd ever get a full 90 degrees out of it, but just to take the load from vertical to when they can engage more of the top half. I think it'll, if it's gonna be built the way I think it will, it's gonna be crazy. Pretty much like everything SpaceX has been doing of recent.
I wonder if these are the hydraulic lines here. So they're not. Looks like they're not high flow. So they'll be slow moving actuators, but very powerful actuators. I think there's a question in chat. What are these white things? Yeah, these are hydraulic rams, but they're very large in cross-sectional area, which gives them a lot more mechanical advantage. This type thing with hydraulics. The bigger the ram, the bigger the diameter of the ram, the better mechanical advantage. So they'll travel slow but be very powerful. And if this is a breakover, they will only need to move quite slowly.
You don't want to break over fast. That's a recipe for disaster.
True. Now, Ryan, you're saying that they probably won't. You've got good reason they won't probably transport ships horizontally. Is that right?
I mean, I don't see why you would. They might try to do it for like the first ship to 39A, but as if you can get the arms to work, basically if you can get the arms on the pad at 39A to work, you load test them, all that stuff. If you want to ship over there, just catch it. I mean, once they know they can catch ships and whatnot, and they've got the sign off to do it, launch a mission out of Boca and return it to 39A. I mean, that's really the easiest way to do it. Rather than trying to transport a vehicle with a delicate heat shield horizontally across the Gulf of Mexico, like that's asking for a lot of damage to that. Or you would have to basically redo the heat shield over in Kennedy, and they don't have anywhere to do that right now. So
yeah, the lift points would have to be redesigned for transport.
A lot of things would have to be redesigned and the ship to horizontally transported. Boosters are a little bit easier because of where they are and everything else, and especially with the new booster clamps, you can hold on to the booster way better and actually break it over better compared to the old style. I don't even know how they would be able to do the old style boosters with breakover. I mean, there's no real good way to clamp onto them, not without welding a new thing onto that, from what I can tell. But
yeah,
the new style Which is where I think B-18 might be the first one to get tested with that. So we'll see if B-18 even flies. But I think you'll see it get tested for breakover, and they'll only move boosters horizontally, not ships.
I've got an
That's
idea
fine.
the clamp system on top of the booster is strong enough to be a breakover. It's strong enough to keep, 1,200 tons or 1,500 tons worth of ship. When the thrust vectoring moves left or right, the amount of load that's on those clamps is pretty significant. To have to shift to be able to move the ship as well, once the thrust vectoring of the booster moves, to be able to transfer that inertia through these clamps, that's a significant amount of load. I think an empty booster, I think those clamps would be fine to hold a booster getting lowered down.
Yeah,
It's
and the other thing is, I mean, points just before stage set, I think it's accelerating at least above 2G. So strength-wise, I mean, you're doubling the load that you have at launch.
Sure, but that's vertical load. I'm sort of talking sideways load. not-
Any of the thrust vectorings they're doing, and also when they're doing their gravity turn,
Yeah,
the you are having more than just the vertical forces passing through that. There will be some sheer moment forces as well.
yeah, that's what I was getting at. The which I think would be far greater than the load on these clamps if they were to use the clamps to lower an empty booster down. That's what I was sort of getting at.
Or you could use the grid fin attachment points because those handle multiple times the load of the booster.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it could even, I suppose you could even use the lift points, but the grid pin's possibly in the way. And as far as the grid pin's getting in the way, well, then I suppose even the old design, that's pretty flat through there. But the new design's not having one side's not having a grid pin, is it?
No, the lift points will be under the grid fins, if I'm remembering correctly. Literally be under two of them. So
I mean, when they transport a booster horizontally, the bottom side, there won't be a grid pin down here. There'll only be one there, and there.
yeah, no.
That's cool. All right, let's move along. Sure. I think it means horizontal there.
Probably
Will
just
be
pressurized.
Pressurized. The loadings, their dynamic loading, they're subjected to during launch and ascent is much higher than them being on their side.
It's not like
When they moved the transfer tube, it was dead level when they were standing it up. The thing didn't have any flex.
It's not like we're dealing with Booster 4 anymore, where it had almost no internal stringers and structural support. These boosters have a lot more now, and especially Block 3 is even stronger with how that transfer tube adds a lot of structural strength to that booster now, more than in the past. So I don't think they'll have any issues with that.
Oh, my maths was wrong. This thing only weighs 5,000 tonne fully loaded, so the load on each point's only 250 tonne. Now, going back to that horizontal transport thing, when this thing's full, when the full stack's full, there's 5,000 tonnes of weight in here, and as the rocket's ascending like that, like we just talked about before, with the once the thrust vectoring is moved on the bottom of the booster, there's massive amount of dynamic loads on the booster itself to get 5,000 tons of inertia to move in any direction. It puts a lot of load on this. An empty booster is, especially pressurized, is, I think, significantly strong enough to handle being transported sideways without any extra strengthening at all, in my opinion. Not that I'm a rocket engineer, but you know what I mean. Okay, we'll continue on. Thanks, Matt. Looks like they've in no hurry to remove this setup over here, so it kind of points that they're going to one day in the near future make another OLM Where they put that is a big question, but anyway, that looks like they're leaving that set up for that particular thing. Operation, I mean. Moving on to this area, looks like this is all new stuff for Masseys, I guess. There's a few strange things in here. I think Alex saying this is strange, these things.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything they're using truss columns for.
Oh, we haven't seen everything built yet, that like the new bunker and a few different things. So they seem
Right.
to be staging stuff here for Masseys.
Yes. A lot of that's looking like some of the switch gears they had that the F section fell over on.
Oh, these bits here.
Yeah.
And it's looking more modular again, isn't it, compared to the first time they built Masseys?
Well, they're going to have a couple of these stands in Florida as well. So
Yep, true.
that's
Yeah,
a tank fill and vaporizer setup. Those two skids that you were just on.
these ones.
Now the
these
lower
ones.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, all complete with the electrical boxes and everything. They seem to really switch since they started. Pad B really switched over to this modular design, and they've really taken that on at Masseys as well nowadays. Okay, we'll continue on with the booster transport stand. It has its booster mounting balls. Be careful how I say these words. And they're not going to sit there. They're just sitting up there getting staged, and they'll be put down here. And once again, once these are placed in here, maybe I should call them orbs. It doesn't look like there's anywhere else really for the booster to land except on these the ball and socket systems. So I think I need to rethink what I thought the clamps were going to look like originally. And maybe at the launch site, maybe the clamps are slightly different, where maybe the clamps will take a bit more load other than just these balls. But for now, for transport and cryo testing, it looks like that's going to be the only point of contact.
I think it will for all operations be the only point of contact because it defeats the purpose of using them if they're just for alignment. You could use that with a lot of easier ways. And like I said, structurally, they use the tops of hemispheres are incredibly strong.
Now, Daniel. Sorry, Daniel. YouTube won't let you see that. It won't let us see your comment. Only the moderators can see that. That's funny, sure, but anyway. Okay, moving right along. They don't seem to be in a hurry to get this new work stand in Megabay 2 completed, but I mean, there's not any real need for it in a hurry. It's got the other three stands still.
I mean, the issue is they want to get 37 has to go back out again for another engine testing, so they don't really want to take up a bunch of room with JLGs, and try have while they're installing that stand, and then of course 37 has to come back and sit on a transport stand in the middle, which means you can't roll it in there either. So my guess is they will roll all that in once 37 is finally out of the pad, stacked and ready to go for launch. Because 38 won't need to come out till a little bit after Flight 10. So.
Sure. What did you say, GOGs? What was that word? Oh, you said GOGs? Is that what you said?
JLGs? The lifts?
Oh, JLGs.
I call it a JLGs is what it is at work, but yeah.
Cool. All right. Interestingly enough, on this truck, we have some more of the flame trench walls for Launchpad 2/B. There's even, I can't see it in this photo, there's another piece over there. So the wall closest to the tower is also getting this triangular feature on top of the wall, which we were questioning over the last couple of weeks. There's a bike. Okay, they're building more of these stands, and let me move along a bit here. And see another one of those nose cone construction slash lifting jig. I think that's what am I still online?
I can hear you.
Oh, cool. Yep, good. I was pretty upset about last week dropping off on you all. Okay, yeah, so we saw one of these get built a few months ago now. They've got another one being built. Another one of these stands being built, and many parts. The factory's really getting lots and lots and lots of equipment being built for it as they move along. I wonder how much stuff they're ripping out as they go forward. Because here's the top ring for that new stand in Gigabay 2. Hasn't been touched this week once again. Still another good shot of where the clamps are going to sit, and perhaps an actuator underneath. Now I got a bit of a request last week's live stream. I moved my screen around too quickly apparently on my cursor, so I'm trying to slow down a bit this week for you all. I just get very excited, all right? So this week we see the small. Yeah, this week we see the smaller stand having some additional pieces added to it, and this ring here, which looks exactly like what a methane header tank would need to have to sit to cradle a methane tank up in here above this. And this one doesn't seem to have the fold up platforms. But I mean, that top one could, but I can't see the hinges in here, so I'm not sure about. Pretty sure that's fixed.
That looks like one heck of a C-clamp right next to it.
Right?
There looks, it looks like there's going to be a steel beam up through here, perhaps.
Should be where the nose cones will sit and get work done and all that fun jazz.
I had a couple questions real quick. So
Sure.
Daniel Kennett asks, when all the pads and the Gigafactory is all complete, what do you think will happen with Sanchez? Maybe a payload integration bay or expanded ship and booster storage garden?
Nothing at SpaceX is ever complete. As we've seen Sanchez in the past, it is always constantly evolving to what they're doing. Yes, integration stuff and payload stuff will probably be part of it, but whether something's changing, being updated, they just use this place so widely versed that I don't think we can ever say it's going to be only used for anything particular other than manufacturing.
I hear you. I feel the same. So we got another one from Nicholas Dornan is, what if space transport the boosters in 2 big pieces and weld them at the Cape to a 1-piece booster in their Gigabay?
They would need that Gigabay to be done. And at the current rate that Gigabay is going, that Gigabay is not going to be done for at least another 2 years. I would even say, until it's like kitted out enough to where you can have a turntable and a robot welder. So, if they want to launch out of the Cape before then, they got to do a whole booster.
Absolutely. Crane Man asked, do you think they will build the Masseys tank farm like the OTF modules?
So far, it's appearing likely.
Well, at the moment, it's actually exactly mirroring it. Just to make a point of that, this LOX system here, this is exactly what we see at the Pad B's pump farm. This is exactly the same. They're exactly the same modules, basically, to answer that question.
Awesome.
So yes.
And Liam Donald asks, are they building the Florida tank farm components at Starbase and transporting them?
Everything tank farm wise for Pad B was built at KSC. So literally, they have a whole operation where they build all the skids and everything else. Those are all getting built at Kennedy. So all the stuff even for Kennedy will get built at Kennedy. So
yeah, there were skids that showed up here from Florida that they'd been working on there because they've got so much more room there to do this stuff. Starbase is huge, but the amount of room that KSC has is just not the same. So they've already been building stuff there for Starbase. So I doubt much will go from Starbase to there unless it's used, in my opinion.
Yeah. The only things I know went the other direction is the ridge for 39A's flame trench.
yeah.
Awesome. Real quick, just want to say thank you, Todd, for the $10 super chat for all aboard the butter train. Yazata for the $10 super chat that says they are on board with the butter train. And RC Horseman for gifting 10 gifted memberships. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Now, come on, Yazada didn't say that. She said Todd's bigger, better butter train.
Yeah, I was going to ask what's the backstory on this butter comment.
Yes, let's repeat that original story. Go for it, Matt.
Oh boy, yeah, so Todd gave a super chat and gave me a nice little Betty's butter beater butter deater butter, something to that effect, and yeah, that's how it started.
You've been scarred for life ever since.
You did really good, though. I'll give you that.
I appreciate it.
Alrighty. Looks like these guys can't read. I think they can build a rocket if they can't read. Okay, I've got some. I wish I find that photo. There's a good photo of the workstations inside the Star Factory, and these are air handling tubes to perhaps extract welding gases away from where they're working on these stands. I might get someone to chuck that photo in Patreon Lounge again. Ah, hang on, what's this image Jake's got for us here? 1 second. There's a breakover. He's showing us a breakover for the SLS core stage. So it's mighty beefy and has a similar sort of pivot point here and a similar sort of actuator up in here. So, okay. Maybe you're right there, Alex.
Dave
Thank
W
you, Jake.
is wondering where will they store / work on the boosters and ships at KSC before they get their Gigabay?
Probably just on transport stands in Roberts Road. Once they build the transport stands for them, about all they've got. They don't have a hangar or any place to store them until the Gigabay's built. So outside, unfortunately.
Okay, thanks. Oh, found. Just give me 1 sec. I've got another image here to show to do with these. So, got a trouble through the show and tell. I guess I'll be right to show a screenshot from Tim Dodd's walkthrough video just quickly for these stands we're just looking at on those extraction type pipes here. So big shout out to Tim Dodd here for his little walkthrough. So I think it's a replacement for this stand is what we're seeing at Sanchez at the moment. Over here with, where is it, this stand. So a big shout out there to Tim Dodd, thanks. How we going? Still online?
Yep.
Woohoo! Alrighty. Over to the, I soon find the gas generator plant. It's pretty well emptied. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Let me see.
Crane
There we go.
Man's also wondering if there's any sign of the BQD hood aft sections yet.
No.
Yeah, nothing yet. I was looking for that last night after the show and tell.
They'll probably just arrive on trucks like the front hoods, I guess. It's a bit of electrical work going on around this area. I'm wondering whether it's something to do with bypassing the electricals. Now, this is not wired in. Maybe I'm not sure. Anyway, there's some electrical work going on here. The new water plumbing is still not complete. There's still an open trench there. We saw this SN2 tank get moved. You can see the SPMT under it here now, and it did the long journey, didn't it? Where's the shot? I can show that.
I think it's called the Sanchez Shuffle.
Yeah.
Went the long
So
way
it
around.
couldn't go down there, so it went down right around here, down Remedios, back up and back around, and it's parked somewhere just here now. Right here it's parked, I think. They couldn't come down here because this stuff's in the way, so I had to go all the way around Remedios and back around and over to here. Okay. So yeah, it's sitting just there now. Okay, I'll just quickly go to the QD, ship QD. Not much happening on it this week. Just give me 1 sec. This one will do. Nice and slow. Not much change this week. I guess they look like they still are actually working on it, but once again, it's not a high priority item still.
Yeah, I have this distinct feeling that the reason why the main cryo lines aren't installed yet, and we don't see the other part of the ship QD yet, is because I don't think they know yet how it's gonna look. Just have this feeling with how long it's taking. I don't think they know what the Block 3 ship QD looks like yet. Just my feeling. That's all.
That would
Sure.
make total sense. Just why not have? Why wouldn't they have something here by now unless they just don't know how to finish off the design? I want to go back real quick to SN2 staff. Gizmo and had asked if that's where SN2 was hiding. For those of you that don't know, SN2 was used as the water tower for the village for a while. Now we're assuming that they have their own supply of water. I don't think we know exactly where it goes in at, but since they're getting rid of this, then that's obviously not needed anymore.
Yeah, so that's right. It's that tank was used to water for the village, and now the water for the village will be coming through this line, I guess. That line came from Highway 4, straight up, they did horizontal boring. Okay, let's go over to the Rocket Garden area. And there, now it's sitting just behind there. Ship 26 is still there. I suppose the Rocket Garden, of course, the big news for Rocket Garden this week is Booster 16 leaving the Gigabay 1. Still on its transport stands. Maybe with its FTS installed. I'm not sure about that. But it's definitely got its hot stage ring installed. And this is 17. And you'll notice Booster 12's missing. And it's gone into Gigabay 1. And, well, I think they're going to scrap it. But people are saying they're just getting it ready for display. So maybe it's going to be displayed somewhere.
Yeah, they wouldn't put it on a work stand if they wanted to scrap it. They would just cut it. And it's still on the work stand without it being cut in half yet, so I am expecting it to be refurbished, probably with either just engine bells or old Raptors, and then they'll paint the engine bells kind of like they did with B-1019, and then they'll go store it somewhere. Question is where.
Yep. Trying to get a shot in here. Down in here, they've over here. Looks like they're going to put this curve here. They've marked a line in here, so I imagine this little curve section's going to go in here as well. Looks like they're sort of consolidating that area. Down here, they've almost finished up down here. Still to pour a bit of concrete on top of that. There's still tons of drainage stuff here. And looks like, yeah, they're going to use that exit out there. Oh, there's the transport stand for booster 12.
Man, it's funny how they had to use to attach those old booster transport stands to SPNTs. Oh,
That's
so
horrible.
Jank. So jank.
It's one of the things I have disliked the whole time they've transported ships and boosters is the way they just got to chain them basically onto the transport, onto the SPMTs. Oh, what's that?
I mean, they used to install engines on boosters through the transport stand.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they'd
Like-
could unbolt one of these sections, couldn't they?
Like it was so jank the way they used to do it. It's hilarious.
Okay, any last questions for Sanchez? I think we're pretty well done on Sanchez.
The only last question just came in from Space Noodles. Could they store B-12 horizontally in front of Star Factory?
They could. Can't see why not. Okay, we'll move over to the build site. There it is. Okay, we should start at the Gigabay. This week sees lots more unearthing of piles to start creating the pile cap and heaps of blinding layer poured as well. I think there's about a shot. Give me a sec. This one here is better. So, I forget the numbers. Lots of piles, nearly 1,000 piles. And I forget the numbers too. There's 1,000 or more truckloads of concrete.
1,200.
1,200 trucks of concrete trucks and almost 1,000 piles. I think it was 900 odd. Which happened in record time, I must say. That's pretty quick going there by that crew when they operate 24/7. So starting to do blinding layers in bits and pieces all over the place. We can see a workstation here with a circle of 8 embeds and then a little wall section here. And another, this corner one seems to only have 4. What's going on there?
They're not symmetrical.
Okay, the elevator in the corner. That's quite the pile cap there. It's quite thick.
It's about the same as Megabase 2's.
Yeah. Oh,
about
Megabay.
2.5 meters.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I thought you meant Gigabay over in Florida.
No, it's slightly different.
Yeah, so slightly different soil, slightly different foundation work, I guess. Looks like they've found a new system for washing out the trucks and not having to use these disposable systems and have this nice little they can carry away type system, which is cool. Took them long enough to get this modular system happening. Like about how many years?
Hey now.
So not much sort of report on Gigabay except that it's they're flying ahead. By next week we should see a lot of the outside wall at least completely dug up. We should see a heap of rebar work even by next week. We did see a forklift moving rebar around. I'm not sure there's leftover piles stuff or there's actually new rebar getting moved into this area over here. I can't quite remember.
Some of it definitely was. I think it was all the leftovers.
Okay. How many green coats does it take to pour a slab?
It's not even a slab.
It's not either. Would that just be
I
I can answer
self-leveling?
that question. It's 69.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, it's self-consolidating and leveling for the most part.
They don't need a trailer or anything.
No.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, well, not much more to talk about on Gigabay, is there really? That's pretty well it.
Well, Stephanie, I mean, before we go, looks like they're working on the ship Cryo stand. I don't think we saw that last night. At least, I don't know if I see the center rams anymore. Unless I'm
Yeah.
here.
It looks like I noticed that. It looks like they're gone.
Yeah, it looks like the center rams are gone out of the cryo stand. So they're working on it.
They are too. These are disconnected. I think these are the horizontal force rams. Yeah, they have too. So that reflects a change in the bottom of the ship.
Something.
Something,
Yeah.
yeah. It reflects something. It means something's happening.
Yeah, right?
Okay, well spotted. Thank you.
So just a couple of quick questions. We got one from Stop Looking 9. Do you think if they put B12 on display, do you think they'll put a hot staging ring on it?
Maybe.
If they have an extra one lying around, if not, it depends if they made one for flight 12, because flight originally they were going to have 36, 37, 38 be flight 10, 11, 12. If they did make an extra one, then maybe. If not, then they're not going to go out of their way to make another one. They probably already threw that tooling away at this rate.
They should have kept the one they recovered.
Right? Stuck it on 12.
Actually, that would have been pretty dang cool.
And then Daniel Kennett has one question. Do we know where the doors to the Gigabay are going to be, including the doors directly onto the highway? If I'm not mistaken, we don't know that yet, correct?
No, they're the same driveways the trucks are using into the area.
We very much do know that there's a aisle, what do you call it? A transfer aisle here and a transfer aisle here. So there'll be a door there and another door here and here. And just looking at this photo, if they do lay a booster down in the Gigabay, there is enough room to turn it out here, isn't there? To take it to the port, which is that way, isn't it, to the port?
Correct. And yeah, that's more than enough room. Those SPMTs can maneuver way better than most people think until you've seen it in person. It's really impressive to watch them turn.
Yeah. Because so they break them over here, which would probably be better idea, or they could break them over at the at the port, but see how much room there actually is here. I guess they could do it here after all.
But that'd probably require a moving road closure, which they may or may not want to.
True.
Speaking of SPMTs, Sod asks, do we happen to know just about how many SPMTs SpaceX has at Starbase?
The answer to that is yes. Yes,
Yeah.
we don't know. They have a lot.
They have a
I've never
lot.
sat around and count.
My thoughts exactly.
I'm sure we could get a close idea if we spent the time looking, but I don't think anybody actually has. Crane Man, if you're out there, you might know, but I don't think we've ever actually tried to count them all.
I think that's a known commodity. I think there's a certain amount of Yeah, I think there is. I think that is known. Isn't there 6-axle and 4-axle or 8-axle?
I think it's 6 and 4.
6 and 4 modules, yeah.
And then you have the power packs. Them two are modular.
I store them over here in the crane yard. Sorry to drop back and forwards on you all here. There's some of the power packs there. And, oh, that's an actual module. There's some power packs. See, while we're here, they've been playing with Gravy. I'm not sure what for exactly, but it's got its big extension on it now. Used to be used for something. Okay, we can see ship 37 in here. And since it's static fire, we can see some extra tiles here. And the nose cone's still the same. And we can see ship 38 in the background there, which is awesome to see. It's always nice to look inside the Gigabay 2. Back to Gigabay 1, we can see booster 18 there, with its LOX tank mostly finished except for the aft section, which we're champing at the bit to finally get to see, which we should see sooner or later. Hopefully sooner than later. Now in the corner, I believe that's booster 12 over there in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And booster 15 there now in the centre stand. So 15's probably getting its final fit outs and so on for the static fire coming up. I don't know, maybe they'll static fire this after flight 10 and then modify the OLM back to ship static fire stand and then static fire 38. Or Masseys will be ready before 38 static fires, but we'll see about that one. I have a lot of faith in the Masseys team. Moving around the back of Gigabay 2, you can see they're constructing, looks like a corner stand here. I'm not sure whether it's for Gigabay 1 or 2, to be honest. Probably for 2, for the new corner, for the new work stand. But I'm not sure exactly. Looks like this one can be rotated 90 degrees around that way. And this connector here, and a continuation. This could be a recess for a ship flap area perhaps too. But that's just speculation. Good shot of the new ship lifting rig here. You can see it pivots at the top rather than the bottom now. There's this little detail here we couldn't quite work out as to whether it's a sliding mechanism or just that's where the top pins are going to be. So it'll lift by the catch points and then there'll be a stabilizer point just above that with a pin and socket as we've seen on the ships all the way along, and its little bumper pad there. Okay, around the back of the factory, not a lot to report here. I did notice some extra equipment in here. Over here, I mean, this stuff's been here forever. That stuff's been here forever, but I don't remember seeing this stuff. Well, maybe that's new stuff for the bakery. And over here, there's some stuff, which is maybe for the bakery. And I'm guessing this is the bakery crew. That's an electrician, I think. Looks like a Sparky's rig trailer. Maybe they're working in... Oh, no, that's closed now, isn't it? I'm thinking maybe they're working in the bakery, but maybe not. I'll rethink that idea.
Steph, where's the closest man door besides the other side of the shipping receiving? Is there one to the right?
No.
Or the back side of the shipping receiving building?
No, not through here, unless there's one in there. No. That's why I had this thought yesterday. I'm thinking, oh, they're working on the bakery, but now I'm thinking about it 24 hours later. There's no way to get into the bakery around here. That's
Yeah, I didn't think so.
They had this wall left open when they were pulling tent 4 down to get whatever equipment in through that way, but now it's closed. Anywho, looks like they're not quite using the receivables bay quite yet because this thing still seems to be getting used here. So hopefully by next week we might see that going. Oh, shiny things. Some airframe bits and pieces. Okay. Do you have the shiny tent? Around at the ring yard. Well, it's not a ring yard, sort of at the moment. It's more of a car park, isn't it?
Yeah.
And a storage lot for all the old work stands and stuff they don't need anymore with all the new stuff they're building.
That reminds me, actually, this is being scrapped as well already. One of these is being scrapped over here at the scrapyard. Well, it's in the scrapyard
An old
area.
one? That's not a new one, is it?
Well, it's on the saves side of the area. So
yeah, so maybe it's just being stored. Yeah, maybe that did come up in show and tell that this is scrapyard area and this isn't perhaps. Yeah, maybe. Oh, there's the trolley. All right, sorry for that little digression once again. We still have clamps here. Looks like white's the favourite colour for Americans, as it is here. Okay, moving on to the apartment building. Ooh, we're about running on time now. Lots and lots more prefab concrete sections going up. This may be an accommodation unit, like a single room apartment for single workers. And if you think that's small, well, they're significantly bigger than the trailers they've got over here. The air, what do they call those things?
silver bullets.
Yeah, that'll do. That sounds fine. And over this side, they've got the elevator shaft area and stairwell started over here, and some more of the, I'm guessing they're shops over here. Okay, onto the whole village. And the whole village, we've got these apartments are looking quite like they're almost finished, probably their final fit outs. We've got their palm trees installed, that's the important part. A little bit of roofing left to go. Some really nice wide open party doors on the front here. It's a nice little touch. And the other side's still got a way to go yet, with roofing still to happen. How's that garden, that Zen garden going over here? Oh, it is a Zen garden like we thought.
Darn, I wanted it to be a go-kart course.
Of course. Or even a motocross track. There's a bit of a berm there. Another little Zen garden. How quaint. Good bit of culture, multicultural going on here at Starbase. Let's just leave that out. So LBJ Boulevard, which is what Lyndon B. Johnson, isn't it? Named after. Looks like this is probably nose-in parking and parallel parking perhaps here. And maybe some pedestrian walkways through here. All nice and concrete. Looks like you don't have to get muddy feet now when you're getting on and off the hydro. What do you call them? My words today. Yeah, hovercraft. Sorry, apologise. My words aren't working today. As LBJ is looking nice. Some more concrete to happen there. Pretty well getting finished off. Just I'll slowly get all this concrete over the next week or two. With the Gateway Island, I think we worked out here, was it? Yeah. Okay, we can take some final questions for the launch site.
All right, so we basically just have one left. Saad Usmani asks if we know how many tiles per day the new bakery will be able to make.
Goodness gracious, did we know how many the old one made? And I think they're only making the custom ones here, aren't they, Ryan?
I honestly don't know what they're making in there. To be honest, since moving into the factory, they might be able to make anything they need. I don't know how much quantity wise, because we don't really know the size it takes up inside the factory. We just don't know.
Boys are coming up with real hard questions for us this week. Good on yous. Keep it rolling.
Can't see it, so.
All right, let's go over to the launch site then. Okay, obviously starting up at the flame trench. Last week we saw that one finished. This week we can see this one mostly finished. Have they put that piece in down there, have they? Is that what I'm seeing down there?
Yeah,
They lifted that this morning.
Yeah, it's still being installed right now.
So it's not there right now in this image. Okay, so we do have a new front hood for the lock side and some nice views down into the clamps this week. So in here, that looks like the socket to put the ball into for the booster there. So if that's once that comes up and that's the ball, the outside of the booster is right there. Which makes me wonder about those triangle-y bits. Hang on, I'll get an angle shot. These triangle-y bits now then are a bit of a mystery then, looking at the way the clamps work. If the ball's going to be here somewhere, it should be come up from there, and maybe the ball's here somewhere. The booster won't actually be all the way back over there. It's only going to be like here, the outside of the booster. So I have to keep an eye on that in the next couple of weeks. Okay, they still haven't hooked up any plumbing on the back of these. We do see some possible hydraulics here, and the electrical and cryos and gases still haven't been hooked up. So someone's going to say something then?
Oh, we just had a really quick question from Schizo Quark. It's a good one. What are your thoughts on what they're going to use as a quote-unquote dance floor on Pad B?
I'll pass that one to Ryan.
I don't think they're going to have one. I don't know how they would make one, honestly. I really don't know how they would install a work platform in there.
I think you've said in the past perhaps they don't even need one on this pad.
They might not. I mean, they'll have access to they'll have access to the top, they'll have access to the interior of the OLM through stairs, through the GSE mount, and then to the top, they have stairs in the booster QD, but as in to get access to the engines and stuff, maybe they don't need it. It's one of those things, maybe they're hoping they don't need anything like that, and they're not going to design one right away, and they're going to see how it works. Plus,
I'll bet you.
Go ahead.
I'll bet if emergency comes up that they'd scaffold it and fill it in and walk underneath it. But that's not going to be something they want to do, but it's going to be an option because we know those scaffolding guys can put them anywhere.
Because in order to make one and make it even remotely easily deployable, they would have to make a rail system that runs from the ramp of the trench along the walls to just above the ridge. And then it would also have to be able to not only slide all the way, but lift up into the whole of the OLM. And I mean, I don't know how you're going to make that. That'll be fun if they decide to go that route.
So what do they do with the current dance floor apart from aligning clamps these days? They don't do engine install, do they? They put take the boots up sometimes, I guess.
Installing all of the breakaway engine show lines is something they have to do. With the ship stuff, they're using the dance floor to install the RVAC stiffeners for ship 37. It'll eventually be ship 38. It allows them to get access to the engine bay and stuff, but I guess they're thinking they don't need access to the engine bay for Block 3, and they can just fly it. And if they need to, they destack it.
I'm going to throw this one out there. What about the new pad just to the right that they got the embeds in, setting a big enough stand there that they can just roll it over from the arms and work on it right there? Obviously, it wouldn't be last minute when they're stacked, but it gives them a place to have a sturdy stand and work, maybe.
I mean,
And it's easy enough to pick up and put down back and forth.
Like, they won't need to put those engine chill down lines on, obviously, because that's not going to happen on this launch pad as far as we can understand. So, yeah, I'm sort of leaning towards there's not going to be a need for it. Everything they have done on the pad A with the dance floor is things that don't actually have to use anymore over here. The clamp alignment, I think you'll find this clamp system won't need that as often, won't need it after every launch, that's for sure, but because of the new rugged system. Maybe we were talking last night that maybe these balls have actual actuators on them, and maybe they can be adjusted even with a computer once they put the booster on here with load cells. So maybe they're, it's self-leveling. I think you were saying, Alex. I like that idea the more I think about it.
Yeah, and I don't think we've seen the final mechanisms it's going to attach to the fronts of the arms yet.
Yeah, there's something going on with these. It's quite a complicated sort of mounting system. There's definitely more to this still to come. Yeah, I agree. Okay. Over on the side here, we saw that last week, I guess. They're all hooked up now. They're all hooked up now. I think one might be just going up and capped, or two might just be going up and capped, but they're all seem to be hooked up now for the FireX stuff and the pumps. Okay, we'll just zoom out here. Oh, that was too fast. Sorry, Mr. Dizzy. I'm gonna call a guy who gave me a bit of constructive criticism last week, Mr. Dizzy. He gets dizzy when I move the screen around too much. But I find that a lot. Even when I'm watching somebody else's video, if they move the screen around too much, it is a bit hard on the eyes. Looks like we're having a retention pond here, even though I said last week there's no way they could put a pond here because of electrical, but looks like the retaining pond.
Yep.
And over here, the electrical's still popped up there. And that freshwater line that runs all the way over to the water deluge farm pops up just here. So whether they're running water, I'm not sure. There's a couple of thoughts there, whether they're draining water, whether there's drainage water from behind this wall draining over here, or whether they're pumping water back from the retainer pond back to the water deluge farm. I guess there are two options there. I really don't know which way it is at the moment. We'll just have to see. While we're over this side, I didn't mention this in the show and tell, but it was pretty obvious that they've got this ready to pour, and actually last night that was actually poured, all this. So slowly they're starting to cover more and more dirt with concrete. Speaking of concrete, there's a new pad there, and in full-on SpaceX style, in BJ's words, they've ripped up this concrete down here that was poured last week. This shot's better over here. I'm not sure why exactly they tore up that bit of concrete and relaid it, but I guess they got their reasons. And while we're on this shot, we can see up under here, they've actually hooked up all this FireX stuff on those four-way manifold there. And also while we're here, the speculation whether the tank comes in this side or that side. Is there room? Is there room to bring a tank through there? Cool, maybe. There we go. I'm still online, am I?
Yes, you are.
Whoa.
Yep, we're just wondering too.
That was the cogs I heard ticking away in your brains.
The hamster was running.
So either way, they've got to bring a tank in here anyway. And actually, while we're here on the deluge, I guess it's a good time to go over here. They've installed there's the You can see it there, Alex. There's the Y there.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you last night. They just shifted it down one tank. So 3 of them were devoted towards the ridge.
Oh, that was here last time, was before.
Yeah.
So what BJ was saying, they maybe just put a section in here in between flanges and moved this whole thing over one.
Yeah, it was when they originally placed it, it had flanges. Everything was set up for this move from when everything was installed a few months back.
Yep. So this obviously not going to roll this one in SPMTs, but easy enough to crane them in with the big crane. What is this crane doing?
Installing plumbing.
Okay, cool, yep.
Speaking of Crane Man has a question. How long does the concrete near Pad B need to dry before Marvin can return?
24 hours, it's got most of its strength. 48 hours, it's got almost all its strength. A few days, concrete goes off pretty hard, pretty quickly. They say it continues to strengthen for 100 years and then starts to get weaker.
It depends if it gets contaminated or it'll stay. But in with the additive mix, but generally it should be fine because the LR11K with its tracks probably puts less weight per unit area than a pickup truck on it.
Yeah, they're kind of light. Yeah, they're quite light on the ground. Yeah. So yeah, a day or two, that'll be fine for the crane to return. Is that exactly where it was sitting? Was it?
A little bit closer to those generators.
Yeah. So it looks like this staging spot is pretty well ready to pour concrete. All its embeds seem to be ready. As expected. Oh, there's a great shot of that little area down there. We can finally see this janky corner a little bit better this week, which a lot of people aren't really liking.
It's too funny. Out of all the amazing things that Pad B has, and of course it has that.
They made the chopsticks too short.
Yeah. They should have at least kept at least one other truss section or half a truss section on the end. They would have been fine.
True. The photos are a bit messed up. Thought we had a better shot of that corner.
That one's pretty good.
You can see the mod to bypass the cutout.
Pull up bar.
Yep.
So there's a pipe up there and there's another one underneath here. Which is, I know, this amazing design work, and then, they go and do that at the last minute. The same with down here, it's amazing design work, and then they come up with this spaghetti. But anyway, not knocking anybody. I think they do amazing work, and they're much smarter people than I am, so good on them. Okay, let's go over this. A bit more in this area. Get a shot. Yeah, this will do. So this week we see a bit more work on the gas assembly area. They're starting to run these pre-press lines and a little bit of high pressure line stuff. So at the moment, each one of these guys, they're redundant. So there's two pipes coming up the same line here. So I think that's redundancy. Then go back over this side. At the moment, they're paired. So which Alex is telling me they may be just doing this for testing, but say that one line comes across, goes to both ship and booster for, say, gaseous nitrogen. So, not sure what's going on there yet.
They're flanged, so they can be separated from that. I don't think they're going to the ship and boosters.
So won't that mean they'll have to have twice as many of those bigger pipes in this rack, which they still can do, I guess?
Right, but I don't think they're going to the ship and booster. I think they're going into the pit.
These are going down into the pit.
Coming from that manifold, those are going to the tower and booster, but I don't think those are going to be connected to. They might be, but right now they're set up. Each of those valve sets are already redundant, so having two sets of redundant seems
Redundant.
right. And
Bit of an
when we
overkill.
get to the booster lock section, they've done horrible things for testing currently.
At least we hope it's for testing. I'm curious to see what the finalized version of all this will be once the pad's operation and in an operational state. That's when we'll know what it's supposed to look like.
Correct.
There's more of the connections down here. They've already hooked on the line side and the lights. Just to talk electrician. On the supply side and on the other side, yes, there's only 3 of these larger pipes here at the moment. Like I said, that could obviously change.
Inlets and
And then this
outputs.
has me baffled too, but once again, testing. Okay.
So I got a good question from SchizoQuark. Do we expect them to build any kind of infrastructure at that Tower B staging area, or is it just going to be a pad for an SPMT to roll onto?
Pad for a pair of SPMTs.
Pad for what Ryan said.
Like if you look at the 4 corners, that's basically set up at this point to be the ship static fire stand. So, which kind of suggests that SpaceX is going to want to static fire the ship and then fly it right after. And then the other 8 are for the regular ship transport stand and the booster transport stand. And then in between, there's like lines. I should say, well, and the SPMTs then kind of go in as 2 lines straight up the middle, or I should say on the sides. But yeah.
Absolutely. And Drew Nar says, okay, hear me out. Put the transport stand on rails beside Pad B. After putting the booster on it, it can roll away. Whee! Leaving the tower free to catch the ship.
I mean, anything's possible. If you don't throw those speculations out when you miss it, that's the worst feeling in the world, and I have plenty of those.
I think that's where we were talking last week about the logistics of booster and ship, where the catch tower comes into play, where they don't actually use a launch mount for catching ships, so the booster can come down, land on the sticks. I was going to say land on the launch mount then. Land on the sticks, get put back on the launch mount. Ships get caught somewhere else, and then because they'll go up to get refurbed, reloaded, whatever, integrated payload, whatever, then bring the next ship in, put it on top, launch, booster comes back, ships stay in space, whatever, for ages. Another ship comes along, booster's here already, put a ship on it, launch. Ships come back, they go to the catch towers. I think that's how it's going to have to work.
Absolutely.
That's my in quotes Todd speculation.
And then we have JT with a question about the deluge. Is it important to have the water of the deluge system equally distributed across all the pipes? Does the timing on which the water arrives actually matter?
Yeah, you don't want to fire the deck off before you lift off. That's kind of pointless. My guess is they'll fire the ridge and the deflectors will fire first. Just before engine ignition, those will fire off. and then as it lifts off, you start to increase pressure, and then you fire off the deck so that once the booster clears the pad, the deck starts to fire off. Because if you go too early, then you put a bunch of high pressure water around the booster for no reason. Kind of pointless. So you want to fire that off within a few seconds of each other, and then those just stay going until the booster's cleared, and then, yeah.
And since the ridge and the deck shares the same system, it's just flipping open a valve. You're not worried about the system not being charged with enough gas as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we think that's the deck. That's the deck there. That valve there, isn't it, Alex? Is that what we've worked
Yes.
out? Yeah. So the main flame bucket and the ridge, and then the deck.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all controllable with the pressure on these gas generators. Can be more than likely. These three different systems can have different pressures when they need it. And then the little gate valves down here can adjust things otherwise. And of course, Spirex down here obviously is also adjustable and can be timed whenever they need it or not.
Yeah, the FireX is completely independent of the normal deluge. And it's a passive pressurization system, so they open valves, pressurize the tanks. And from that point on, it doesn't require intervention. Meanwhile, the deluge system, it's a very active system.
Sorry, Jake. See, Jake pointed out that cryo test stand earlier. So sometimes I don't look around at all the different screens. It's a bit busy sometimes. Yeah, thank you, Jake and Ryan, for bringing my attention to the ship cryo stand. Okay, let's move along to the what do they call it? Mega bunker.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately. No, we're just gonna go with unfortunately.
Which is confusing. So there's a couple of posts I haven't used yet. Looks like it's going to be 2-story. Looks like there's on another angle. We can actually see where the floor here. There's some tabs on all the posts for some flooring, and in here as well, some tabs for flooring. There's some kind of patio, veranda, whatever here. I don't know. It's weird.
This whole thing is weird. Just go with that.
Yeah, it's got an isolated concrete slab on top, and the building's actually standing on the underside concrete slab, which is down under there. So it's got an isolated concrete slab on top. It could be a new amenities building, or there's no plumbing for amenities, like no P-traps or anything being put underground in there. But in saying that, there is this open outside area which could be added later on. Some of that plumbing could be added later.
For the Star Factory, they finished the same way, where they left a open gutter and don't know what they used it for.
Around.
Yeah.
Steph, you there?
That's it. It's Steph just.
Yeah. I thought it might have been me.
Place that building looking.
Oh, there it is.
It's looking less and less like it's going to replace that building. I might have to bury that one.
I still think it will.
I mean, I guess the whole thing is what else would it be for, other than to be a new comms and relay bunker or something they're building themselves, and because
this points more towards that's going to get removed. Yeah. Maybe I won't put it away yet. I do like the idea of that bunker getting taken away and all this getting properly groundwork being made level again. I didn't notice that before. That actually dug right down that far.
Yeah, That's one of the reasons I've been thinking it's going for a while.
That is some of the only concrete that is left from the suborbital days.
Absolutely.
Like, legitimately, that's like the only one that's left, other than the bunker. That's
And
the only
what's
thing that's
under
left from those pads.
And
Part
what's
of the
under
landing
bunker?
pad under the new tanks.
Oh, yeah, that too.
It's going to get live as long as stuff can here.
So it kind of mirrors that angle over this side, but doesn't. It's kind of weird. The whole building's a bit weird, but yeah. So we'll just keep an eye on that again, like I always say, over the next few weeks and see what happens. Now, I think we can move on to the tank farm here, the pump farm. So for testing here, Alex, this took a minute to get out last night, but they've swapped out this pipe, one of these two, with these pipes.
Both pipes were switched.
Both pipes were switched, which
Yeah, the
in
top and the
turn,
bottom.
which reversed the flow through something.
The heat exchangers.
Through the heat
The
exchangers.
outlet from the pumps are now going into the bottom of the heat exchangers, and the outlet from the heat exchangers are now on top.
Breathe, Alex. Okay,
I'm
breathe.
trying.
I'm giggling over here. We saw some frost on. Okay, we'll leave that alone for now. We can see some frost on those vaporizers and some frost over here. So they're running the nitrogen system a little bit for some reason.
They were also running the methane system earlier than the flyover. Because if you look at the reclamation system, that's also chilled.
Okay, I'll get the other angle here.
In the old section of the tank farm.
Over what?
Yeah, they were also at some point running methane through the system.
Through over here?
Yep. The
Crane Man was also wondering if that 9th pump motor was in that wooden box there.
Maybe.
They did put a new pump in over here.
Yeah, finally.
The wooden box. Yeah, that is a motor box, yeah.
That would complete, and then they got to hook up the lines, and then that would complete the lock side entirely, other than the testing that they're doing.
They've replaced this manifold.
Boy, I hope that's testing only, because that's just... What is it? So stupid it's amazing, or so amazing that it's stupid? What is it? One of the two?
I think in this case, both.
Still, there's little links to put in down here, I guess. It is looking, very finished.
The actuators for those are floating around, I think, on the other side of the wall. And those are the other end of the pipes they removed from the heat exchangers.
Over on the locks over here. For the other side, for the ship side.
Yeah.
Okay, in here, yeah. We saw this squiggly pipe for a while, haven't we?
Please stop. But yeah, it was one of them was at Sanchez by the GSC building, and the other one was a bit closer to where they built the OLM.
I'm going to laugh if they did all that testing and then realized they needed to reverse the flow or just reverse the way it was for some reason, which I don't know why they would make that decision all of a sudden.
The kettle reboilers also are reverse than they've previously been hooked up. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
So why would they do that? Even if it's just for testing, what would be the advantage of reversing the flow through the heat exchangers?
I don't know what
Okay,
configuration of the tubes inside the shell.
Alrighty, cool. So that's the pump farm. That's awesome. Pump farm B. I'm still throwing around 1-2 AB. I'm almost convinced to go over to 1-2. I'm gonna be a bit stubborn and stay AB still for a while. I think we had an official thing come from SpaceX or someone in SpaceX say pad 1-2 the other day. I think.
But that was the same person who claimed, and then we pulled up that they said it was always referred to as that, and it flip-flops in all their official documents as well.
Cool. That means I can stay with AB then. Awesome.
Yes. Yeah, Event Dude, again, love his work. He collected all the various and cited where they called it by either.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Old tech guy. You can go into Home Depot and ask for a squiggly pipe for sure.
And I don't care what the official word is. It's pad A and pad B to me. I can't do 1 and 2. That's just, it doesn't roll off the tongue right. So I'm still going with A and B no matter what.
It's pad B because they just rebuilt the suborbital test stand B.
Very good, yes.
And I mean, isn't that where all the hops were done?
There they are, just hops.
Yeah.
You know, they're literally hops. They're not into orbit. It's not an orbital launch pad. It's suborbital. It's suborbital pad C. Okay. The orbital pad A doesn't exist. It can't hurt you.
Sometimes it's in the room with me, so.
Alec, yeah, your voice sounds awesome now. See, I've always sort of thought flights, the flights were being like Flight 5 and that are orbital, but the orbit is so that it intersects the atmosphere. It's half an orbit, like a quarter of an orbit later. But
that's called a ballistic trajectory.
Like they literally fire the engines long enough to get enough velocity to hit a certain point and as a ballistic trajectory, and they follow that. They don't go fast enough for orbit, so it's not actually orbit. Orbit would be if they actually hit 17,000 miles an hour, but they don't hit it, so they're not in orbit. So it's not an orbital launch pad.
There's many types of orbits, and one of them being elliptical, so I'm sort of figuring out thinking elliptical. But thinking about orbital mechanics, there's a bridge, and it's something they had to work out back in the Mercury days, the Gemini days. There's a bridge between projectile motion and orbital mechanics, and you've got to change your formulas when you go from a projectile flight path to an orbital flight path. And that little bridge in projectile and orbital took a little while to work out the maths correctly. So yeah, I'll call it suborbital launches. So here we see the static fire ring put back in place. So everyone's shaking their head like SMH. Looks like 37's coming back. Like they half cut it off and everything. They've removed pipes and removed this, and then anyway, we learnt that last week. The XQD's just hanging around like they do, just sitting on the ground, hanging around.
I realized how spalded that concrete was.
You're right. You see it's bad. It's just
it hasn't fared well. And there's the Fondag starts, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think the best example of how this launch pad is faring is staring at the plate. Dear Lord. That ship static fire just it did not do good to that plate. That plate is in a bad way after that static fire.
Yeah, I'm with event dudes there. It's a type of orbit. It's just a very shallow,
Look
low.
how brown that plate is, even from this angle. Because normally it's like a cleanish gold color.
Yeah, that ship static fire really charred it.
Speaking of the pad getting all beat up, Nicholas Dornan has a question that he actually asked about an hour ago, but I asked him to wait till now. If SpaceX rebuilds Pad A and destroys the OLM and all of it, do you think they're going to build the new tower at the new height with the extra 40 plus meters?
New tower.
I think go ahead, Alex.
No, you go. I think we'll say the same thing.
Yeah, we're probably gonna say the same thing. I think what they're gonna do is and this is what the more and more I look at the plans, the more and more I look at what SpaceX would have to do to change this over into what they currently use. Is they take the mount out, they take the plate out, they put some kind of like makeshift like deluge system in there. They take the ship QD arm off, they take the chapsticks off and redo the carriage, the arms, everything, and they turn this into a catch tower. And then what they do is they do an EIS, an environmental impact statement, and find a way to get all of the other land they own and build Pad C, or 3, or whatever you want to call it, out there with the new tower, new height, trench, pad, the whole works, tie it into the tank farm and whatnot. And if anyone's going to ask how long that would take, yes, that would probably take several years until they got a second pad up and running, but I don't really see any other way they're going to do it, because I don't see them using that that tower for a second pad. Not with how old and bespoke it is. There's so many issues with it. Yeah.
I'm going to agree. You can. This shot shows exactly, and they've just done that massive big out here. They've just bought this massive big area out here to give back to which I think silly. They have to. Anyhow, I've said this last week. Considering how big these wetlands are, they're only asking for this tiny little piece of dirt here. It just seems a bit of an overkill having to replace it with such a massive amount of land. But anyway, that's the way it is. That's fine. We do need rules and regulations, but that one just seems a little bit overkill. So yeah, here's somewhere, Rhino. So it's maybe even parallel with the flame trenches over here somewhere. Even over here, there's a stack of room in here. I really do like that idea. And they do need a catch tower, like I said, for the logistics before. For the current cadence, that's one tower, one launch, one catch tower should be fine.
I don't think they'll do it in parallel. I think what they'll actually do, I think they'll turn the trench. Because basically in this case, you knock out the water deluge, you knock out that break room, you knock all that out. You place the tower somewhere by that break room area, or you place it a little bit more to the south, and then you do a flame trench that does almost north to south, is basically what you do, so that the tower is facing out towards the Gulf rather than down towards the dunes, which would make it far easier to catch boosters on. And then you can catch ships on the other tower, because it is kind of a little bit more oriented better for that. Because for those who don't know, the current Pad B tower, in order to catch boosters, they're going to have to bring the booster in and then dogleg it on the landing burn to get it, to basically get it into the tower. It's not going to just come straight in and get caught like Pad A. It's going to have to do like a little dogleg to get it into the arms, because they're not going to catch it on the side. You don't want to put that much stress on a single actuator, extended or retracted, I should say. So that's kind of where I think they'll do it. But that is going to require, with that much land to use and fill in, and a brand new pad and all that stuff, I would assume that would require an EIS. I don't know how they would be able to pull that off with a programmable environmental assessment or a tiered environmental assessment with that much of a change. I don't know how they'd be able to pull that off.
So thankfully for Event Dude, once again, he's put in this chat. Usually it's 3-to-1 ratio, so 500 or 955 acres could get up to 318 credits of wetland usage. So, but of course, that's not a normal. That's a normal, not a guaranteed or anything.
Mudflats is closer to 70-to-1. There's different because mudflats. There's no known way of recreating them.
Yeah, that makes sense actually. So maybe the dunes is 3-to-1.
Yeah, well, I mean, the dunes so far was yeah. I mean,
True.
they're just doing 1-for-1 for the
Speaking of
ASU.
dunes, they're building a dune over here, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's not a dune, it's a dune.
So the process of getting any land for an eventual Pad C is long. There's a lot of paperwork. But I think that's the only way that they're going to do it. Unless the other option, and is to bring in a 13,000 or something and dismantle that tower and dig up and rebuild the foundation somewhere else and redo the tower. That's your other option. I honestly think it.
I like the idea of Pad C, yeah, or Pad A/1.
Absolutely. And one quick question from Crane Man before we keep moving. Says, doesn't all this waiting on ship 37 increase the chance to static fire 38 before flight 10?
No.
They want to get 37. They want to get flight 10 flying. I think they are hoping, praying, crossing their fingers, whatever, they get a successful flight out of 37 as quick as possible because I think they want data for Block 3. With how long it's taking them to get to stacking Block 3 and how we haven't seen a single test tank of it, I think they're legitimately waiting on a successful flight of Block 2, or at least they're hoping they get one. If they don't get one, then, well, they'll have to use the data they have and build, and then you kind of hope that Block 3 succeeds off the bat. Otherwise, yeah, you're in a bad place. I mean, they're already in a bad place now. They've lost or about to lose 8 total months of the year to Block 2. So they're behind.
Hey, Ryan. I think the technical term for that is full send it and just see what happens.
Right. Send it, see what happens.
Just looking at chat, the catch tower we're talking about would only be kept for catching ships. All the boosters will be caught on the launch site, on the launch pads. They only need to catch towers for the ships. It's because ideally, with their overall goal of rapid reusability, they're gonna land a booster on the chopsticks, put it back on the launch pad straight away, bring a ship in, launch it again, so the ship can land on a catch-only tower, and the boosters stay on the actual launch pads until they need to swap out a booster, of course, but it only takes a minute. So yeah, just boosters, definitely won't be caught on the catch towers, only ships. I suppose unless they're retiring a booster maybe, but that's not going to be that often. So just going to move along here quickly for a minute onto the ASU unit. They've brought at least one of the units drilling rigs down from the build site. Seems they've finished the pile digging at the build site. They've laid a bit of a blinding layer down there. I guess that's for a wall. I guess.
Yeah, they're building a retaining wall.
And they're adding some dirt over here to reclaim, taking a dune away from here and rebuilding it over here. Look, this truck's doing it Aussie style too, like Toby Wavy. When Toby Wavy comes along here, he goes along here, he does a quick lap around the roundabout, wrong way around, just because he can, which is funny as. All right, that pretty wraps up all the official stuff for this week's show. We'll take some more questions, and perhaps if I missed anything you can think of, Alex or Ryan or Todd.
Hit the like button.
Hit the like button,
Free to subscribe.
Yeah,
like and
otherwise
subscribe.
we have no more questions. We've been keeping up very well.
Awesome. I think that worked well, Matt. Thank you very much for your time covering questions today as well as producing at the same time. You've had a busy afternoon. Thank you so much for your time there, Matt. We really appreciate it.
It is my pleasure. Happy to help and happy to be here. Love the crew and love all the viewers.
Okay, and Ryan, thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate every time you jump in and because you have a lot of expertise and you got a mad memory. Your memory is so good. So I appreciate your time today, Ryan.
My memory is good. I don't remember that. Anyways, it's a pleasure. Pleasure as always. Also, I'm an expert. Okay, I didn't. Huh. I didn't think I was an expert on anything.
Oh, you go all right. You go all right. You go all
You'll
right.
forget it in about 5 minutes, so don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. Right? What?
You go all right for an American. And sorry. And thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alex, for your time. I'd say that in all due respect, by the way. And thank you, Alex, for your time today as well.
No worries. Sorry about all my weird technical issues.
No, your patience is amazing. How you can relate to us all the technical details with the plumbing and that. You're amazing for that. Thank you. And Todd, thank you also for jumping in today. It was good to have you online again, on the stream again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Will gladly bring my butter expertise to you guys if ever you need it. Just let me know. You guys all have a great day.
And I guess that leads us to signing off with how's it go? Most engine cut off. Love you, bye.